Hello, welcome in this new video, new YouTube live dedicated to ESTIC Espace, specifically ESTIC 1, which is a business school from Lacato Lille, in Lille. I expect from you to hear me, and if you don't, if you can write directly in the chat. Welcome on this YouTube live. So this YouTube live is streamed already on Twitch, and it is streamed also on TikTok. So it's something new to me. And today, the aim of this YouTube live is to ease the preparation of Microsoft Excel revision and specifically assessment, which is planned on Friday, the 14th of February. And we will see different topics, specifically if and, average if, SUMIF, the pivot table. So we will see that thanks to this Microsoft Excel I shared with you. So normally you should see it. And we will go formatting. So how to format a table like this one, for instance. So I will zoom in so to allow you to see it better, like this. And during this 1 hour, we will see how to insert a chart and customize it. We will see how to use the sum, product, average, and specifically how to use the semicolon and how to use the colon too. And of course, this YouTube live is dedicated to the for beginner. Also, if you're more advanced, so more expert, don't waste your time with us, but it's just for the beginner. So let's start. So first here we have some figures. So we delete that. Very good. So let me just check if it works on YouTube too. Meanwhile, just a moment. So welcome to Azael, who is quite new on my YouTube channel. And thanks to my students from different university, because thanks to them, we have today 544 subscribers and 78 videos for them and for all of you on Mac, Windows, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, Google in the future, and Microsoft Outlook. So I see that the YouTube is live, so we can. Oh, it works. Very good. Very good. So now we can start. Very good. So it works. So let's go back to Microsoft Excel. So I still zoom out, zoom in for you like this. Very good. So first we will begin with formatting. So as a beginner, the first step is to know how to format your Microsoft Excel table here. So we need to format the header. So we will go directly to select many different cells. And then I would say, many options. Either I go directly in the ribbon here. So I will work on this part. So I want to specify that I'm working on a Mac, and maybe the layout is slightly different on Microsoft Windows, but you can find on my YouTube channel Microsoft Excel with working on Windows. So here, what I suggest, to be sure to find exactly the same way, you select different cell, the different header, you right click, And then you just go in format cells. So meaning that we will work within different tabs, and within the tabs we could work either on the number, we could work on the border, and things like that. And you can see here we have the number alignment. So meaning if you want to center, if you want to, I would say here center, but just horizontally speaking, but you can center also vertically speaking, meaning that the content of the cell will be centered on in the cell. So let's say here I want to center horizontally. So I say, okay, you see here it's centered, but I go back. If you do this, you can work on different formatting in the same time. So here we are working on how to center here. So I'll let you do it if you want. Then I would like to fill the content of the cell here like this, and I want to select a color. So let's say I want this to be in green. So the color which will fit with the green could be white for the font. So I could go in here, the tab which is called font, and go directly in the color and select white. It's not finished. I would like also to bold the font. So now if I validate, you can see this, but it's not in white. Didn't work. So the font, and I take it for the white. Now it's okay. So we see here months, fruit, quantity, turnover. So what is interesting with this is that we could use something which is called here the paint brush. So we can copy a formatting like this and select the months, January, February, March, and so on, to have the opportunity to copy the formatting, not the content, and to paste the formatting. So if I now select where I want to apply, you see that now January, February, March, and so on are keeping the same formatting. So I do it again, Command Z here. So first I select the cell containing my formatting. Then I click here on the paint like this. So if you click once, you can use it once. So you can copy once and paste once. But if you want to double click on the paint here, paintbrush, or on the brush, if you double click here, you can use it many times. So I show you, double click. So first you select from where you want to select like this, double click, click, click. And now you see with my hands, so I'm just working with just one hand, I can click here, here, there, there, there. So I'm not obliged to select directly all the cells. So this is something very interesting when you want to format the different cells. Let's work on the content here of my table here. So let's say I would like to when I select them, I would like to have border inside the table and outside the table. So border. Let's say this. So I will right click, format cells, border. And what is interesting with border is that you've got something, a preview. So you can see in the preview what will be the results, what the result will be. Let's say I would like to have here like this, something like this. Okay, so I select first the line style, and then after after this, I can select the color of the border. Let's say purple. Why not? And now I say where I want to apply my selection, my line style and my line color. So I could either say I want the outline like this, or if it is known, what you can do, you can customize specifically where you want to apply. Let's say up and just down, or just outline. So meaning up, right, down, left. And it's not finished. I would like to have the same style, but inside, meaning here, like this, and there. Not only around, so not only in the border outline, but also inside. So I will click here inside. So you see in the preview, what will be the result? And you just select with OK. And you see now, we have exactly the same result I made just before for the formatting. So I'm chatting in Twitch with my follower, I guess. Very good. So don't hesitate to chat within the chat on this streaming. So it will be interesting to answer to your question if you have any, of course. So I'll let you sometimes to do it. Thank you, Beatrice. I'm very, very happy that you're here with us. Okay, so now let's say we want to apply a specific formatting for the turnover. So my turnover, I want to apply a currency, and this currency for me, as I'm French, is euro. So I have two options. So I give you the first with the quicker one, which is first, you need to select where you want to apply this formatting, specifically dedicated for the number and currency. So first you select where you want to apply, then you go in the ribbon, just here, and then in the ribbon, you just have to click somewhere just under general, which is called here accounting number format. Or you can go in the drop-down list and select the currency. So it is by default currency. Of course, you have more than US pound, euro, Chinese, whatever. If you go in more accounting format, you can find a lot of different ones. Or you can just only select here which one you want to apply, or by default, it is in euro. So I can click just on the bill note, and boom, it is in euro. So just one moment, save as. I will share with you this Excel sheet. Book, YouTube, live, is this one. Okay. Very good. Okay. So here, if you click on the link, you can download the file I'm working on. So it will be easier for you to practice. So you just have to click on the link and then you can open directly and download this file to be able to follow easier. Together, we can follow. So for the moment, nobody open it, but you can do it if you want. Okay, so I keep on working on it. So here, and then we would like to apply, I would like to bold the content. So I select here, and then, also, sorry, I said in the first place that you have two options to apply euros. So first is to use in the ribbon this, or what you can do is right click, format cells. As we will be working on numbers, like here, then we will select accounting and select the currency we want to use. And I say OK. So in fact, you have two options. Either you work thanks to the shortcut, or you work directly by selecting where you want to apply the formatting, right click, format cells, and in there you have a bundle of options like number, alignment, font, border, field, production, a lot of things. So the formatting is done. Let's say it's more or less done. Let's say we want here my different figures. I would like a title with figures, and I would like to center the title here above quantity and turnover. So I have something in between centered. Let's say my figures, I would like something like my figures, but I don't want my figures to be in the column F, but between F and G. So I select the two different cells, still right click, format cells, and there you can click on the tab which is called alignment, and there you just have to select where can I, yeah, here, merge cell. So you will merge the different cell, this one and this one, and it will create one cell instead of two. So it will be a merge. And you say OK. So you see first it's merged, but it's not centered. So you click uncenter. So you have either these two steps, or what you can do is selecting the two cells and then click on a shortcut. And behind this shortcut, we have merge and center. Boom, that's it. And of course, my figure, I would like to apply a specific formatting. So I can say I want that bold. Let's say the content to be with a specific color. I do like the purple, but I want that to be in white. That's it. So now let's dive into the opportunity to use sum, product, average, and how to use semicolon and colon. So why do I do this? Normally you should know it, but if you don't know it, it's important. If what if you work within a company, if you have it during an internship and you didn't create this table, so you are facing some results, some formula, and you want to understand the structure of the formula, how to use the semicolon, how to use the colon, and why did they use this. So I will explain to you thanks to this video on YouTube. So let's dive in sum, product, average, and using semicolon and colon, and we will work on this table. Let's say we would like to have the total here, the total quantity, and the total turnover. So first, equal, sum, open the bracket. So to use either the semicolon or the colon, we will use the semicolon if you want to select different cell. Let's say one cell and another and another. Let's say we want to select this cell, this one, and that one, meaning that I don't want 126, I don't want 191. So I say click here, semicolon. Then I select another cell, semicolon, and another cell. And you can see that within the formula, the different cells, have different color. F3 is in blue, F5 is in red, F7 is in purple. Why? Because when you use a semicolon to ease the reading, Excel is using different color, meaning one cell, one cell, one cell, one cell, and another one, and another one. We could do this if I want to create the sum from this up to this. So I have two options. The first, which is really nonsense, but you could use it, is this one, semicolon, this one, semicolon, this one, semicolon, this one, semicolon, and that one. And you will see the result is 814. But now it's nonsense because I don't want to select one by one. So I will use the colon to say I want from F3, including F4, F5, F6, F7, up to F8. So then I say F3 colon F8. And you see, we keep the same color here, blue, blue, 814. So I show you here the formula, like this. And what if I want to use the same nonsense, I'm sorry to tell you that, but the same nonsense formula, open the bracket, this, semicolon, this, 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 this one, and then the formula will be like this. So if you want to include from a cell to another cell, you use colon. If you want to use one cell and another one and, you hear the and, meaning is using within a formula like sum, average, product, max, mean, whatever, you will use this. So now we will do the same to calculate the average quantity for all this column here, this column here. So let's say we want the average. So here, equal, average, open the bracket. Then I will select all the different cells. Boom. So it's very easy. So you see, if you want to use semicolon and colon, it's very clear. So it means that if you want to use, let's say now, product, meaning one cell times another one. So let's say I want so Sasha has said has written on Teams in our Teams, the type of exam will be a quiz, online quiz. But of course, if I want you to catch all the tips on Microsoft Excel, the easiest way for me is to explain to you on a Microsoft Excel sheet. That's why we are doing this kind of YouTube live. Okay, so now let's say we want to, so I say sum, average, I want to use the product, and product, let's say it's nonsense too, but let's say I want to calculate 110, the quantity of 110 times turnover, nonsense. But let's say just for the exercise, equal product, open the bracket, the cell containing the quantity. And if I want to do this, I have two options, of course, F3 semicolon turnover, but as it is close to turnover, I just have to select the two cells. And boom, that's it. What I can do now is apply this formatting as we saw just before. I just click here on the paintbrush and boom, I apply. When you're facing this, it means that the content is too large for the width of the column. So you need to be in between H and I, and you double click here. So Beatrice, you want to round up the number. So you can select here the different number, and you can go here in this part, and you can work on this 00 and the arrow going on the right side. You see, like this. Does it answer to your question? So first you select where you want to round up the number. Then you go here like this. You click on this cell, and it's not a cell, it's a button, and it is written decrease this decimal, like this, decrease decimal. So if I want to do this here, I do that again, like this. Is it clear? Very good. So first, it's easy. I think, I'm not sure, but we could check. I round up the number here. I want to apply a select with my copy paste formatting, and I apply, and you see that my figure here in this cell was rounded up here. So now it's easier to drag it and drop it down, and I applied. So I do that again. So if I want to copy paste this down, so to have the same, I have two options. The first, I go down on the cell and I have somewhere a kind of point, a kind of dot, which is in green, just here. Either I double click, boom, it's filling, but it's filling because we have some information just on the left. Or you can manually do it. So let's say here, you select, you go exactly at the same place, and then you drag and drop manually. Boom. So now you're able to create your own table. You're able to format the header from your table. You're able to copy the formatting and paste it, as we've seen just before, so very easily. So you're autonomous. And you are able to format the content of the number of the cells containing some number to have a formatting with currencies like this, accounting number format or currencies. And we saw how to use average, sum, product, and how to use the colon and the semicolon. So the aim of using colon, semicolon, when do you have to use it? So it's very important to know the basis, specifically if you go within a company, as I said in the first place, and you work as an intern, you work as an employee or for a C level, and then you just have a sheet already with some formula calculation and you don't know how it was done. Maybe you are facing an issue and you want to modify it, you want to fix it, and you need to understand the structure of the formula. So what is important to understand is that I'm working on Mac on my application fully in English, but if you work on your Mac not only Excel, but all the Mac in English, maybe instead of using within your formula here, I would say, so for this, not a good example, but let's say for this one, let's say here, you want to use semicolon. So maybe it's not semicolon for you, maybe for you it's comma. So you will have the same issue if you work on Microsoft Excel online or if you work on Google Sheet online. A Google Sheet it's of course online, and then instead of using the semicolon, you will use comma instead. So maybe you will face an issue within the formula, and this issue comes from comma instead of semicolon. So you can see in the chat what I just say before. like this. Sorry, so we just need. Yeah, intéressant. So first here, sum open bracket F3, semicolon F8. That's it. So we keep on working. So we saw sum, average, product, how to use colon, semicolon. And now we will work on something which is called SUMIF, average ifs. This is something very interesting because if you want to calculate, to summarize the quantity, the total quantity per fruit, in this case, I want to calculate the total quantity for the lemon, the total quantity for the orange. I have two options. The first one will be something which is interesting. Which you could waste some time with this. Let's say for the lemon here, the orange here, copy, then here. So of course I will do this equal sum open the bracket, and then for the lemon it's easy. I just have to select all the contents. Orange I will do the same, sum open the bracket, and then I select. If I want to do the same for the turnover, I will do the same equal sum open the bracket, and then I will select this and that. I won't do that. I will explain to you how to use it with SUMIF, meaning that each time Excel will find lemon within a range of cells, specifically within this range, not only this, but that, then Excel will calculate the sum of the range of the quantity. That's what we will see here. So I will zoom in again, like this. So equal SUMIF, open the bracket, range. So Excel is asking the range. So the range here is the range containing what I am looking for. So I'm selecting the range here, and I am looking for within this range, now semicolon, lemon, and lemon is in this cell, E10, just here. So I just begin again. I restart. I'm looking for E10, so lemon, within a range which is E3 up to E8. And so what if E10 is found within this range? Then I want to summarize, and I want to summarize what? The range containing the quantity. And boom, that's it. So I will copy paste this formula directly in the chat. And I show you to you here. So this is for the SUMIF. Of course, if I want to do this for the AVERAGE, I will do the same, equal SUMIF, open a bracket, where I want to find the AVERAGE, semicolon, I select the AVERAGE. So the AVERAGE is called a criteria. So I want to find this criteria within the range containing my criteria, semicolon, and then I want to calculate or to summarize the quantity. So we do the same for the turnover, equal SUMIF, open the bracket. I will show you something quicker after. So equal SUMIF, open the bracket, here, semicolon, that, semicolon, but now it's the turnover. So it's very easy, 3 arguments. First, where I want to find my criteria, semicolon, my criteria, semicolon, the range containing what I want to summarize. For this now, for this example, I want to summarize the turnover. So this is the column G. And I can apply the same formatting like this as we saw just before. Boom. Equal SUMIF, where, what to summarize. So you can still download the file on which we are working and try to apply what we saw. So when we're finished, this will be recorded on YouTube, and then you can play and review and rewatch it, and then use this file to work on it, to practice. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to chat and to ask me, and I will answer to you. Okay, so we saw SUMIF, and of course, I'm sure you're wondering how to use the average if. In fact, this is exactly the same. You just have to replace SUMIF with average if. So let's say we want to calculate the average quantity per fruit, specifically for the lemon or for the orange. So I double click and I just have to replace SUMIF with average if. Very easy. Boom. Can do the same here. And that's it. Do the same here, the same. And then again. Boom. Easy peasy. So we saw average if and SUMIF. So average if and SUMIF. So let's say I want the same like this. Boom. That's it. We saw also some product average. And now let's dive into the pivot table. So we want to create a pivot table to be able to calculate the same results as this average if, SUMIF. So I would say that you could ask me why wouldn't we use pivot table instead of average if, SUMIF? So you can use pivot table only if the structure of the source of your pivot table is structured with a column vertically speaking. If you have the header in a row like this, so if you have header like, I'll show you. So what if I take this table and I transpose this. So if it is like this, you can't calculate by fruit, by quantity, the total quantity, because for Excel, on the pivot table, it will be taken into consideration that we will work only on January, February, and March. So you need to work, if you use fruit, quantity, turnover, if you want to calculate, you need the source of this information to be structured like this. If it is like this, you can't, as fruit, quantity, and turnover are in rows. So if it is like this, you can only use here the SUMIF, average if, when it is structured like this. Here you can use either SUMIF, average if, or the pivot table. So now we will work on the pivot table. Okay, so let's go. So how to create a pivot table? Here we would like to work only on fruit, quantity, turnover. I don't mind working on months. I don't want to work on example. So if I would say, do you always need to select all your information to create a pivot table? I would say no, because you can normally go insert, create a pivot table. But in this case, I just want to use just a few information. I just want to use fruit, quantity, turnover. So I would have to select only what I want to work on. So I select fruit, quantity, turnover, and then I click on insert, pivot table. So the first part of this Windows tab is the source of my information. So we see that here it is sheet 1. This is the sheet 1 here. And the range concerned is from E2 up to J8, like here, E2, J8, or G8, sorry, here. And now the second part here is the location where you want to have or to display this pivot table. So I have two options. The first is to say I want to display this pivot table in a new worksheet, blank, with nothing in it, or in an existing worksheet. And I have just got one worksheet which is open, which is sheet 1, this one. So I just have to go where I want to display this pivot table. So for me, I will do it here. And now I validate with OK. So now my playground for my pivot table is here. And what is important to understand is that if you go out of this playground here, you get rid of the right panel dedicated for the pivot table, and you get rid of the two different menus here, pivot table analyze, and the other one which is called design. Let's start. So I go back within my playground. So first I would like to see, so to display the fruit in rows like this. So I pick the fruit like this and I drag it down in rows. So rows and column are how you will display your information. And when we speak about field in pivot table, we speak, in fact, field is dedicated for the pivot table, but in fact, the field are the column in your source. So I have a column fruit, a column quantity, and a column turnover. Boom, rose. As you see now, lemon, orange. So we see lemon, orange. We don't see orange and lemon. Why? Because it is alphabetical. L and after is O. But if you want to reorganize and to put orange in the first place, before, you just click on orange. You go on the right side. So on Mac, it is a hand. On Windows, it could be a cross like this. You click here and then you go up and you will see where you want to reorganize lemon in the second place and orange in the first place. So if I want to do that again, I go right here on the border of the cell, right side, and then I click just under lemon and boom. So if you want to keep focusing just on one thing, you can force Excel to reorganize differently the content of your information. So now I want to calculate the quantity. So each time you want to calculate something, let's say summarize, average, minimum, maximum, percentage of the grand total, whatever, you need to work is in this area, which is called values, just here. So let's drag and drop quantity directly in values. Boom. Let's drag and drop turnover directly in values. Boom. So remember here we have an average. Let's say I want to have now again the SUMIF to show you the results. And we will compare this result with the pivot table. So here, this one, if I compare the first quantity 367, 447, we have the same there. If I want to compare the turnover, we see here 10,271, 9,431. Remember these figures, we have exactly the same here. So you see that we can either use the pivot table or SUMIF and average if. So now let's say we would like to not have the sum, but we want to calculate the average quantity. So we do the same here, right click, And I will ask Excel to summarize values by, like this, and I will click on average. Boom. I do the same for the turnover. Right click, summarize values by, average, boom. And that's it. Very easy. So this is the way how to use the pivot table. But the main thing here is that I won't share this pivot table to my boss, to my manager, because we don't have the right headers. So first, we have to understand that if I want to keep the same labels as the source of my information, remember it was fruit, I can do this. I double click and I say it is fruit. On the other hand, if I want to keep the name, the same label from the source in the source we have quantity, and I want to have here quantity, in fact it's average, but let's say quantity, I can't, because Excel will say pivot table field name already exists. So you will have to rename either this field or just cheat with the field and add a space before quantity or add a space after, just that because visually speaking this is something different, but for us it's the same. So average of quantity is good for me, I keep it. Average of turnover is good too. So let's go back in the figures. Right click, summarize values by, boom, sum. I do the sum here, summarize values, boom, sum. And that's done. So now we saw pivot table. If you have any question, don't hesitate to chat and to ask me. So I see that 8 people are watching this. So now let's insert a chart thanks to the pivot table. So if you want to insert a chart thanks to the pivot table, you just have to be within the pivot table. Don't need to select everything. Go in insert. You select, so I would do this if I were you, recommended charts. So Excel will recommend some charts, some different style of charts like this. So we don't have any. So, okay, let's say this one or that one, it's good too. So we see, so I zoom out. So I took accumulated bar. Let's say I want another one. Insert. Let's say this one. So now what if we want to customize? So first see the figure, turnover, quantity on the bar here. You just have to click on the bar and then you can right click and click on add data label, and you see here directly we have the figure. So if you don't clearly see the figure, you can say I want to format the figure, let's say in white and bold. You can. When you click, it selected everything here. Then you go in home and you work on the font, and we want this to be in white, and let's say, why not, bold. So as we work on lemon and orange, orange is an orange, but let's say that we want the turnover for the orange, for the lemon to be in yellow. So you select once the bar, you select another time the bar, meaning that first when you select once, it will select not only the lemon, but also the orange. But if you click another time on the bar, it will select only the bar you are on, and then you go directly above here in the ribbon, and you select the content, the color of the content, and boom, and you change here because it's not very clear here. Let's say now I want this to be like this. And it's finished. So it's very, very easy. You can do something very interesting. You can resize directly this chart like this. You can copy or you can cut this here. Let's say put it just under and then paste it. So we see first the figure and then the chart. So what is important to understand is that if you don't apply any currencies here, you won't have any currency on your chart. So that's why if you want the currency, you need to work on the table first. So this YouTube channel is dedicated for not only beginner, but also for advanced level people. But we saw just today how to insert a chart, how to customize it, so you can go further if you want on your own. So here we saw this, and we will finish with the if and with if and we will work on this table here. So we will work on if and we will finish. So it's 20 to 9, and I think we will finish at 9 o'clock. So you could rewatch this video to understand the basis of Microsoft Excel. So the if is if something equal to is greater than or is different to. So we will see the different condition. What if it is true? Then something. It could be a calculation, it could be a text. What if it's not true? What if it is wrong? Then something else. So let's dive in. Equal, if open the bracket, let's say if the turnover here is less than 5,000 euros. So less than 5,000 euros. Semicolon, what if it is true? Then let's say I would say not enough. But if I want to type something within the formula, I need this to be in double quote. So double quote here, not enough, double quote, semicolon, and then what if it is true? It is not true. Wonderful. And I say okay. So I copy this formula and I paste it in the chat. Boom. So if upon the bracket the cell containing a figure is less than 5,000, semicolon, what if it is true? Something. It could be a calculation. Now here it is a text. Of course, if you type a text, you need to this text to be included between double quote. Semicolon, what if it is not true? Boom, wonderful. And then we validate here. Now we just have to drag and drop to see if it is true or not true. So not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough. So now we will use something which is called the if and. So if and is what if something is true and something else is true and what if everything is true? Then what happens? What if everything is wrong? What happens? So let's dive in it. Equal, if, open a bracket, and then we will work on the end. And you have to type and, open the bracket, and now we have the different logical condition. My first one is, for me, let's say the quantity. So what if my quantity is less than greater than 100 euros, 100. So greater than 100 and donc semicolon, the turnover is greater than 2,000 euros. So what if the two conditions are true? I close the bracket, semicolon. So what if the two conditions are true? Wonderful. What if the two conditions are wrong? So not only one, but the two conditions. Very bad. And we close the bracket. So now I copy this formula and I paste it here. So it's not only greater than 100, but also the other cell, the turnover, greater than 200. What if just one condition is true, it doesn't work? But if the two conditions are true, it works. So now here, very easy, boom. I just have to copy paste down, and now I can check if it works or not. F3 greater than 100, no. Yes, just one condition. On the other hand, here it's wonderful because it's not only the quantity greater than 100, but also the turnover, which is here greater than 200. So it works. Wonderful. That's it. So now we saw if and we're finished. Thanks for watching. If you have any question, don't hesitate to comment in the chat, to comment on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.